It's Zach from Atlanta, Channel 2, man. Good seeing you. It's been a minute since we last seen you in action. What do you remember most about your high school days, just representing the city of Atlanta, state of Georgia?
I think the most exciting thing about my high school days, honestly, is being able to be here with Steele Chambers. He's grown up with him since 4th grade, and kind of being able to go through this process together, be able to talk to each other when we were redshirted, those kind of lows of college football, and then be able to see each other during those highs and kind of support each other through that time also.
A little trippy to be high school teammates, go through from the jump and then look 30 feet down and there's your guy.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And, I mean, it's something that we've always dreamed of, something that we talked about since 4th grade, playing ball together, and to kind of have it come and happen is something that's really exciting.
What do you hope to get out of the week?
I think the biggest thing for me is just go through and be able to be myself and be able to give the teams an honest perspective on who I am and the person that I am and how much I love football and my passion for ball.
A lot of guys talk, pride about their state, but in order for 30 guys every single year come to the combine from the state of Georgia, you guys represent the high school football world?
Most definitely, and I think it's something that you can just look through the different rankings through every single person that, even that we play at the 4A level that we play at Western Trinity, and there's always guys making it to the league, and I think we're going to hope to continue that tradition.
JD, you obviously had a big week with the Senior Bowl. That boost your confidence or kind of reaffirm what you already thought?
Yeah, I think it most definitely reaffirmed it. I think for me it's just the opportunity to compete with some of the best, and I think this is probably the closest thing to NFL that you can get at the Senior Bowl, and just be able to play with them, feel really comfortable, and learn a new defense, and just be really comfortable in that defense.
Talking to some NFL people, they mentioned your next level approach to zone coverage, drops, things like that. How much do you credit that Al Golden playing for an NFL caliber coach or former coach?
Al Golden definitely has changed my game. I think I really benefited just being at Notre Dame. I had 3 different defensive coordinators over the time, and so I went from a cover 4 base to a man base, and then Al Golden kind of installed a little bit of everything from the get-go, and then we turned it a little bit more of a man team, but I had exposure to so many different kind of NFL defenses, and so through him, I think he's really helped me during my time, and I think that's why Notre Dame's going to pay him so much money to stay there.
Have you had a chance to interface at all with the Raiders, that team that
I did during the Senior Bowl a little bit.
So how did that go?
Senior Bowl there's a mix. You talk to so many teams. I mean, I don't remember specifically, but I feel like overall my interviews have gone well, and I've been able to speak ball well with them and just be able to kind of portray my true self.
JD, staying on the subject of Notre Dame coaches, what are your thoughts on Max Bola being promoted to linebackers coach?
I'm so excited for him. Between Max Bola and James Laurinaitis at Ohio State, both of them being my coaches, they work their butt off every single day, and just to see the grind, be able to see it pay out and pay off for them, and just their expertise as NFL players and college players, and be able to have that touch with who you are as a player in the college league. It's really been an exciting thing just to be able to see them.
Beyond the obvious answer in Kaiser, who are some of the guys in that room who you think can step up with you and Maris gone?
Yeah, I think there's a whole group. I think outside of that Kaiser position, I think there will be a real competition. I know there's some young freshmen coming back. There's a guy that enrolled and went on a mission trip coming back, and so I think the guys that are already there, I think they're going to have a good competition.
JD, Caleb Williams seems like a pretty tough dude to get to the ground, but you've done it. What was the key for you to actually sack Caleb?
Yeah, I think it was the transition from year 2 where they got us really good to year 1, and I think our kind of plan going at him was either keep him in the pocket and really true cage rush where we keep 4 corners, and then the other one would be to be able to kind of flush him from the pocket away from this throwing hand and then have a spy player, and so just kind of always keep him guessing, and then pre-snap disguises, be able to kind of just keep him guessing as to what we're really in and what we're playing, and then how we're going to attack him when we do blitz.
Going back to Coach Bola, what are some ways Coach Bola really helped you develop over the last year?
Yeah, I think it goes back to that player's perspective. For me, he was able to really kind of communicate well, take the defense that we're scheming up a certain team and be able to communicate it well into kind of certain steps on how to best go about learning that defense, how to best go about applying that defense, and where kind of your eyes, what you're going to key, what you're going to trigger off of, and just being that communication piece. And I think it does come from him being able to have played the game at the highest level.
And your brother, I sure went through kind of a different process to the professional level, but have you picked his brain at all, kind of as you're starting to go through this, and what is some advice he's given you?
Most definitely. So my brother, minor league player, and so he had an interesting process, as you said, cut and all the way through. And I talked to him every day, but every 2 weeks we go through he's a mental performance coach, and we go through kind of the mental side of the game and hit different subjects there and how he can help improve my game and how he can help prepare me as I go into the NFL.
Who's your guy growing up?
I have. I haven't met here, but Senior Bowl I did, and I met it again. It's kind of a mix, but
Speed dating, though.
exactly.
Who's your guy growing up? You trying to emulate somebody on the Falcons?
It's funny. My family's not a huge football family. We always watched it, but not like sit down and we had a team or anything like that. When I was going into high school, I was wanting to be a tight end, and so Tony Gonzalez my guy. And then as it's gone on, I think I really like to watch Kuechly, like to watch Sean Lee, like to watch. Nowadays Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner, all those kind of guys.
There's one game from your 2023 tape that you pointed to someone, hey, you should watch this to best kind of get what I'm about. What would that be?
I think if I did go with one game, I think it would be Louisville. I think I just put on a wide variety of skills, whether it was blitzing, whether it was coverage, whether it was taking on blocks, throwing blocks by. I think I put on a wide display. I think it was also coming off the edge and then making the play on this far sideline. I think I just presented myself in multiple ways, and I think that game was kind of, a resume game.
What's next for you after the combine? Are you going to train somewhere? What's next?
I'll head back to Irvine, California, get back to training, and then go from there.
Which position do you kind of feel like you want to play? Do you want to be inside? Do you want to be on the outside, or does it not matter?
I feel pretty comfortable with kind of all over. I think I've ran multiple defenses, mainly 4-2-5. A lot of the NFL is going to kind of a 4-2-5, and I think at those two off-the-ball linebackers, they're pretty similar. In order to play in a true 4-2-5, you have to know both.
Do you have a favorite? What did you guys want to do this song? What was so dangerous about him going into that game?
Yeah, so I think the thing that was so dangerous about him is his ability to extend plays. And 2 years ago, you could see that. He made a 4-second play into an 8-second play. And at that point, we're hurting our secondary, trying to make them cover for so long. And so going into that game, the biggest thing outside of our rushing lanes was trying to pre-snap disguise and know that a lot of the sideline checks came in and he would scan to the sideline to communicate. And so for us, we tried to hold disguise as long as possible and then play with a lighter box and pack the coverage and then come down and play into the run.
When you look at the best linebackers in the NFL, what's one trait or attribute that they all have that makes them so great?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing from my perspective and talking with a lot of the kind of great linebackers is the ability to bounce back from plays, the ability to flush the last play and move on and act like it didn't happen, or at least learn from it and be able to apply it to the next play.
Have you met with the Buccaneers at all during this process?
I have. Once again, it's been informal here, Senior Bowl, and it's kind of hard to group specific conversations, I would say.
Along that same line, Steelers.
Same thing. Yes, sir.
You have a favorite Joe Alt story from y'all's time together?
Favorite Joe Alt story? It's a good one. I think first one that comes to mind was we did a fishing trip in Chicago. And I just have these memories of this big old dude on this tiny little boat, kind of rocking it back and forth and just reeling in that fish. And, for me, if I was holding that fish, it'd be a big fish, but for him, it just looks like a little fish. So
obviously, he gets so much attention, potential top 10 pick. Just kind of what stands out about him as a guy who knows him so well?
Yeah, I think the thing is that he kind of came in with an NFL process. Thankfully for his dad played a long time in the NFL, and so the way he went about his business was very NFL-like in the sense that he would take care of his body. He knew how to watch film. He knew which ways to go about watching film, and then I think that shows in his film. That shows on his play. It's just his consistency day in and day out.
Did you go out on Lake Michigan?
We went to Lake Michigan. Yes, sir.
What did you catch?
I don't even know. You can ask Joe Alt. Joe Alt know every kind of fish.
You got a favorite story we should ask you about?
You should ask him about his dance class.
JD, having started so many games over 3 years, how do you think you've improved, and what areas have you worked on?
Too much. I think, as holistic, I think each year I saw an improvement. I think for me it was there's different areas the blitzes. I think my ability just to time them up, my ability to hit them low, and I think a lot of just my whole improvement was just from understanding the defense, and especially that transition from year 1 to year 2. I was really kind of able to understand where people are fully fitting and how to play off of them if they aren't in their proper fit. And I think it just allowed me to play fast.
Did you meet with the Broncos yet here at the combine?
No, I have not yet. That might be something.
because there's two of you Notre Dame linebackers here, and George Payton, the GM, was talking about meeting with one. So
yeah, I met with him twice in the Senior Bowl. I think tonight we have some more interviews and such.
Have you talked to Payton before, George Payton?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. You mentioned kind of inside and outside. Sometimes some teams, coaches will say it's important to kind of specialize and get one right before the other. But for you, how do you think you can maybe kind of multitask that and get both right kind of at once?
I think I pride myself on just the ability to take in a lot of playbook at once and the ability to understand a lot of roles at once. And so I think for me, I'm able to understand both roles, and I think also playing that old Al Golden defense, you had to understand like how those DNs were playing it, how they would play different techniques. And so I think I have some past experience and then my ability to kind of understand an entire defense and be able to understand what each person is doing. I think that'll help.
That mental side of it, is that like, how do you kind of convey that when you're interviewing with teams that you can handle things on a high level?
I think for me, it's just the ability to, I think they can take it and understand it from just the kind of questions I'm asking, the kind of like understanding I'm having, the ability to teach a play, learn a play, the ability to kind of apply that play to their game and talk about a team-specific play, say it's a cover 3 match, and be able to understand it right there, right then, and then be able to watch their film and talk who's made the mistake and not made the mistake.
JD, you kind of embodied that 4 for 40 approach that the Notre Dame obviously talks so much about. How has that helped you, not only looking forward to life after football, but how has it helped you in this process?
Yeah, I think it's helped me with this process, the 4 for 40. Just the people that have texted me along the way. There's a lot of former players that have texted me along the way, and just kind of always just kind of having that word of encouragement, or people that have been there before texting me and saying like, hey, like you're already like good enough, like we know you got it, and just that constant encouragement. But then also being able to just ask people, like my former roommate Isaiah Foskey, and be able to just ask him questions about his processes throughout the combine and what he regrets or what he wishes that he did better, and so those kind of conversations.
He said he was a fantastic ballet guy. But he asked me to ask you about the time you gave blood.
Oh, see, that's funny for that. We had a little blood drive at school, and he got some service hours. I was like, sure. Good thing to do, so I gave blood, and they had a little like table a little farther away, and so I was walking to my table and I passed out. I didn't get injured luckily, but I just passed out right there on the gym floor, and it was not. My mom wasn't too happy.
So Steele said you busted your nose, complete lies?
No, I mean like it was like bleeding and stuff, but luckily I didn't have
it. He said it was broken.
It might have been. I mean, but it's just a little cartilage, so nothing too bad.
JD, you won a couple of high school state championships at Blessed Trinity High School in Georgia. What was the biggest takeaway from your experience there?
I think it was the growth from year 1 to all the way to my senior year, making the state championship those early years, and then just kind of learning from our mistakes, like just not being able to perform at the end and losing that state championship game, and then just kind of creating those relationships, and it kind of created a standard of who we were at Blessed Trinity, and no matter who was coming in, we were going to have to stay at that standard.
Sure. Was there a particular piece of advice from your high school coaching staff that you took with you throughout Notre Dame and into this process here?
I think it was the experience that John Thompson gave me. He was a DC at the college level for a long time, and he kind of introduced the first time a little bit more of college kind of scheme, a little more language, and so just that language and the crossover, and even though it wasn't speaking the exact same language, it was the same concept, and being able to be like, okay, this is the same as what he taught us.
Thanks, JD.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, JD. Appreciate it.